This is Ray Mota from ACG, and welcome to another edition of the Hot Seat. Cisco had an announcement related to the SDN space, and joining us today is Kishore. Kishore, thanks for joining the Hot Seat.
Good to be in the Hot Seat, Ray.
Appreciate you being part of this particular segment. This is an exciting area. You know, SDN, there's a lot of confusion in that area. So, with our audience, we've got a lot of different questions, and SDN means a lot of different things to a lot of people.
Yes.
You know, why SDN in the WAN?
So all the attention in the SDN area has been focused mostly on the data center.
Mm-hmm.
But if you think about it, the wide area network is really some of the most expensive assets that are in the network. And a lot of things are changing in the wide area network. The SLAs are the most stringent. Equipment is expensive. There's 20 years of installed equipment. There's investments in capital, investments in training. And it's really a part of the network that needs to be run very, very efficiently. At the same time, there's a business model problem in that revenues per bit are declining. Mm-hmm. Traffic matrices are changing. A content provider can move a content cache, and overnight, the patterns in the network change completely. Yeah. So it's a very dynamic space, and we felt that we needed to focus on a solution, and SDN happened to be a good technology for solving some of these problems.
Good. Now, if we look at what you just talked about in the area, you know, what new services potentially could they provide when you look at SDN in the WAN?
So there are a couple of broad areas in this. First of all, I think the utilization levels in the network need to be driven up. Mm-hmm. If you talk about a business model problem, you need to lower costs, you need to drive up revenue.
Right.
And if you want to lower costs, one of the best way to do that is to drive up utilization and to sweat the assets that you have more effectively.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense.
And so there are a whole set of applications around optimization.
Mm-hmm.
How do you distribute traffic? How do you load balance traffic across the network? How do you make sure that all your expensive links are equally used? Yeah. Yeah. And then there are a set of new services that customers are demanding. You want disjoint paths across the network, or you want to use sophisticated policy routing.
Okay.
And there's bandwidth calendaring. You have a lot of unused capacity in your network. Right. How do you make use of those troughs in your traffic utilization and actually leverage those troughs to generate some new revenue?
Right. Okay.
So there are optimization services and monetization services.
Yeah, no, it's interesting to see the difference between the two. Now, you know, this is a new area, it seems like, for a lot of different people, right? Yes. Now, when you talk about WAN automation, you know, some of the specifics related to this, you know, how is this different?
So the WAN automation engine is built around the technology we acquired from Karadan.
Karadan? Okay, so this is through the Karadan acquisition.
Yes.
Right, okay. Yeah.
And the Karadan software has been in some of the largest networks in the world for the last 10 plus years. Right. So the algorithms that are used in the Karadan software are very much the same algorithms that are used in the WAN automation engine. Right. There's a collector that gathers information about both topology and traffic in the network. You need to have a very good, accurate global view of the network before you make decisions about what to do about the network. Sense, and then the algorithms about decisions you make are field tested. They've been around for a long time. Right. Okay. So that's a fundamental difference.
That's the difference, right.
And then second, what we've done is taken these algorithms and distributed the algorithms so they can be run on a clustered system.
Okay. Yeah.
And we've built APIs around this. We've added a deployer to actually go make changes to the network. So if you can trust the algorithms, the next thing you need is to add scale and speed. And we can scale this to hundreds of thousands of transactions per second. And finally, most important of all, it has to run on a multi-vendor network.
Right, yeah. Now actually, you know, that's interesting. You talked about multi-vendor. I mean, Cisco traditionally is not known for something like that. But I agree that for it to work properly when you look at complete WAN, are you really multi-vendor support, and how is it you do that?
If you put on your customer hat and think about it, I don't think there are any single vendor networks in the world. Right. And having an SDN solution that manages and has view into just your equipment is a bit like the sound of one hand clapping.
Yeah, good point.
It's not very useful.
That's
it doesn't make a lot of noise.
Right, yeah.
So you really have to be multi-vendor. There's simply no choice. And I think that's the new reality, not just for Cisco, but for every software vendor in the networking space.
Yeah, I've got that visual of one hand clapping now in my mind. Now, as we always do in the hot seat, we always like to end is this product real? Do you have real customers? Is it shipping? I mean, what could you tell us about that?
So the product is very real. Given that we had a lot of the components already, the algorithms were ready, the collector was working, we really had to focus on the deployer, the distribution, and the REST interfaces.
Right, okay.
And we've been doing demos for about a year now. And we've been in lab trials since late last year, and we're in the process of moving into production trials in the second half of this year. And we expect to be in production probably early 2015.
2015, great.
Yes.
Well, thanks for joining the hot seat. I appreciate it. Hopefully it wasn't
Very
too
good
bad
to be
for
here. No, it wasn't too hard at all.
Awesome. With Kishore, I'm Mota. Thanks for joining this segment of the hot seat.